basketball. The Detroit Pistons beat the Houston Rockets today on the road, 107-96, and get back above 500, improving to 22-21 on the regular season. Big win, man. Big win for the Pistons, who just started a 5-game road trip and had just worked their way back above 500 for the first time this deep into the season in a long time. So it was very important for the Pistons to come out and start this road trip right. And they did that. I did not want to see the Pistons go on a prolonged losing streak, and the likelihood of that happening after they finish the trip would have been much higher had they lost the first game. So for them to get off to a good start, winning the first game of a road trip is very important and is a sign of maturity for this young team. So let's get into it. Initial thoughts. The Pistons hit first this game. This was a game of runs, definitely a game of runs, but the Pistons, like I always talk about, got off to a good start. Right? They hit first, they matched the energy of the Houston Rockets, and they got up early. So much so that after the first quarter, they led 40-29. So a big first quarter for the Pistons. The Pistons defense today may have been as good as I've seen it all season, and against a very good Houston Rockets team. This team is slowly beginning to look more like that 2001-2002 Detroit Pistons roster. Not the 04 team, but a young, tough, gritty, hungry team that has an identity. And that plays to that identity. That team with guys like Ben Wallace, Cliff Robinson, John Barry, Chucky Atkins, Jerry Stackhouse, Michael Curry, that team. The Pistons tonight play really, really good defense, man. And they forced the Rockets into turnover after turnover after turnover, especially in that first half. And that's how the Pistons have to play if they're going to be successful. Tough physical defense, transition offense, and player and ball movement out of the half-court offense. Houston is a very good team. They're very talented, and they play very good basketball. They're second in the Western Conference for a reason. I said coming into the season that I thought the Rockets may be a year ahead of the Pistons in terms of their progression as a young team. Here's what I mean. The Pistons this offseason did what the Rockets did last offseason, adding veteran leadership to a young, talented team, guys like Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, Fred VanVleet. The Pistons added their vets this offseason in Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Paul Reed. The Rockets were also a year ahead as far as coaching. The Rockets hired a coach that cares about his team before the start of last season. The Pistons didn't find their coach that cared and was committed to this team until this offseason. So the Rockets have had an additional year to build their foundation, right, with an improved roster, an improved coach, while the Pistons are half a season into their progression as a team. And in that second quarter, the Rockets woke up and they flipped the script and started to hit back. They became the aggressor defensively, and they kept turning the Pistons into turnover after turnover. It was literally the same things happening in reverse. And because of that, the 15-point lead that the Pistons had was gone midway through the second quarter. In the second half, though, the Pistons locked back in and got back to who they were. They rebuilt that double-digit lead early in that third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, both teams started out very cold. Nobody could buy a basket. But what was important was during that stretch, the Pistons did not allow Houston to get into their offensive flow. The Pistons weren't scoring, but they made sure that Houston also didn't score until the Pistons were able to reestablish their offense, and they did. And once that happened, they were able to pull away and win this game. So really, really solid game from the Pistons from beginning to end. They played, for the most part, to their identity. They played to who they are, and it was a team win. Team defense, team offense. It was really nice to see this. I think we're beginning to see more and more what this Pistons team can and will be as they continue to grow, get more reps, build chemistry, and build confidence. Let's get to the box. Let's start with our all-star Cade Cunningham. 32 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 10 turnovers, on 12 of 22 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, 5 of 5 from the free throw line in 36 minutes. So let's get the bad out the way, right? 10 turnovers. 10 turnovers is not good. He started off this game slow. Most of those turnovers came in the first half. So he was just a little too careless with the basketball with his passes. Some of his passes were lazy, and a lot of it happened in that second quarter when the Rockets went on their run. And Cade's turnovers did contribute to that. But to his credit, he did not give up on plays. When he would turn the ball over, he would always sprint back on defense to try to get a stop. And it paid off a few times. He was able to get back and block a dunk. So one thing about him is that when he turns the ball over, he doesn't give up on plays. He does not give up on plays. I love that about him, and that really goes to him wanting to really be that two-way player, not just an offensive player. So it's good to see that. Now for the good. In that third quarter, man, in the second half, but really in that third quarter, he could not be stopped. He was hot. It did not matter who was guarding him, whether it was Dylan Brooks, whether it was Amin Thompson, Tari Eason, Fred VanVleet, it did not matter. It did not matter. He was getting whatever he wanted, and the defense was at his mercy. He did it everywhere, too. High posts, mid posts, pull-up threes, and he had a pretty fadeaway jumper at the buzzer to end the third quarter over Amin Thompson. It was beautiful, but that was pretty much a microcosm of what he was doing all second half. He just could not be slowed down at all. And it seemed like Cade knew that the Pistons needed his offense in that second half because he was super aggressive coming out of the gate in the third quarter. And man, he looked like the all-star that he is. Coaches, I hope you are watching these games because we all know he's going to probably get in as a reserve because we know the NBA is a popularity contest. So I hope coaches around the league have been watching Cade Cunningham lately because he really has been playing like an all-star. And tonight was no exception. At this point in their fourth years, I think it's clear that the Pistons made the right pick in Cade Cunningham. Jalen Green is a good player. He has the potential to be a very good player, but you see the difference in impact that they make for their teams. Jalen Green had 19, 4, and 4 tonight with 5 turnovers on 8 for 21 shooting, 2 of 8 from 3 in 30 minutes. Solid game, right? But aside from just the stat line, just the impact on the floor, Jalen Green is a scorer. He is a scorer. If he's not scoring, he's not really doing too much for you, especially on the offensive end. But Cade, on the other hand, can score just as well, if not better than Jalen Green, at a more efficient clip. And he does so much more for you offensively as your point guard. He gives you the rebounds, he gives you the assists, he gives you the defense. He is just the more complete basketball player. There should be no doubt in anyone's mind. And I know this is just one game, but I think it's safe to say that both of these guys are playing as well now as they have ever played in their career. And based on their current peak, Cade Cunningham is a better player. You're not really hearing anyone of note talk about Jalen Green when it comes to all-star selections. I think it's a reason for that. Cade Cunningham is the better player. And I think it's going to continue to show that as their careers continue to progress. So once again, Cade Cunningham, all-star, book it. No question about it. I still want to see him improve that turnover count, right? He had a lot tonight. But when you're that good of a player offensively, guys are going to double you. Guys are going to triple you at times. They're going to blitz you. So he just needs to make sure that he's aware of that early in the game and making the right pass just a little bit quicker. Just be a little bit more careful with the basketball. But other than that, Cade played about as well as you could ask. And he's playing the best basketball of his young career. Tobias Harris had a quiet game tonight. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 turnover on 2 of 9 shooting, 0 of 1 from 3 in 34 minutes. So he struggled tonight with the shot in his offense. But I gotta say, man, he continues to be impactful in other ways. He's not a perfect player, but he's a solid contributor to this team. He finds ways to be effective. He missed some easy shots in the post that normally fall for him, but he found ways defensively to be effective. He was getting on the boards, he was getting in passing lanes, getting steals, just making a lot of effort plays tonight. He was a plus 14 tonight for this team. So not a great shooting game, but once again, if you can find ways to be impactful while you're on the floor, that's the most important thing because you're not always gonna have it going offensively. So that's good to see from Tobias. Asar Thompson had 11 points, 9 rebounds, 1 block, 3 turnovers, on 5 for 12, 0 of 1 from 3, 1 or 2 from the free throw line in 22 minutes. One thing about Asar that I appreciate is that he's always willing to get on the boards, right? He's one of the best rebounding wings at his size in the league. He helped prevent a lot of offensive rebounds that the Rockets may have had. When Şengün was positioning to get a rebound, Asar would get in there and tap the ball to a Piston. Little things like that is what he has done very, very well for this team. And once again, he continues to be effective defensively in turning defense into offense, right? Whether it's a block or a steal. He finds ways to impact the game. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 10 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover on 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Tim's shot selection has been very refreshing. A lot of the story on him has been that he's a very inefficient scorer, takes a lot of bad shots. He has not done that with this team. Most of his shots come within the flow of the offense. He's not trying to go one-on-one. He's not taking long distance 3-pointers without moving the ball first. He's making the right play. And he's playing good team defense too. He's always battling. He's not really out of position defensively. He's not getting caught on back doors. He's just playing very sound basketball. For him to take 6 shots in 30 minutes shows that. That's a lot of minutes. So to only take 6 shots means you're not hunting for your shot, but you're only taking shots within the flow of the offense. And that's what you want to see from a vet. Also, another charge tonight. He is now second in the league in charges taken. So he continues to throw his body around, give his body up, even though he has injured himself multiple times taking charges. Once again, when your vet does that, it sets the tone for the young guys. If they see you doing that as a vet, it's going to make it easier for them to buy in and do the same thing. Lead them by example. Love to see it. Jalen Duren. This was one of JD's best games of the season. 16 points, 14 boards, 3 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers, only 2 fouls on 8 for 8 shooting in 30 minutes. Round of applause for Jalen Duren, man. Round of applause. This was by far one of the better games I have seen from him in his career. Not just the double-double, not just the 8 for 8 from the field, but everything else. The 3 assists, the 4 steals, the 2 blocks, only the 2 fouls. That is activity at its finest. He did a little bit of everything tonight, and he played smart basketball. Only 2 fouls for JD is what you want to see. Shows that he is locked in defensively. Shows that he's playing disciplined and smart defense. I say it all the time, effort JD's biggest Achilles heel for him this season, especially early this season, has been his defensive effort. And tonight, he was a disruption all night defensively. He had active hands, breaking up passes. He was diving on the floor for those 50-50 balls, those loose balls. Him and Stu both played great defense tonight on Sengun without fouling. Defensively, he played great. He played great, man. When he plays with this much activity and effort, he has no choice but to be impactful in some way, shape, or form. And then on the offensive end, he was running the floor. He was sprinting down the floor, and he was rewarded for that on multiple plays. So he's beginning to become that defensive-minded center who was a rim runner and finisher for this team. He's too strong and too athletic to not be effective. The only thing that can get in his way is him. And if he continues to give this type of effort consistently on both ends, he's going to be a double-double machine and a huge difference maker for this team long term. Great game from JD. Let's get to the bench. Simone Fontecchio, 0 points and 3 boards on 0 for 3 shooting, 0 of 2 from 3 in 12 minutes. Surprisingly, I was not upset by Fontecchio in this game except for one play. You guys always know my knock on Fontecchio is doing too many things outside of his scope. If you can't catch and shoot, move the basketball, move yourself. You guys have heard this from me all season long, right? He got off to a bad start with that. His first possession that he had the ball, he tried to drive to the basket with no clear lane or angle, and he hit the side of the backboard. I immediately got frustrated and concerned because that was not the way I wanted to see him start this game. But to his credit, I have to give him credit, he got to what he does best, right? There were a few times following that play where he got more into the dribble handoff action, where he would take a dribble and hand the ball off to a guard instead of screen and then flare out, and the ball came back to him for an open, quality shot. He didn't score tonight. He was 0 of 2 from 3, but the quality of shots were much better for him. And for him, that's much better offense than him trying to barrel his way to the rim with no real shot of getting a quality shot. So even though he was 0 for tonight, just the way he was playing, the shots he was getting, and the way he was looking to be effective offensively is exactly what I want to see. It's just interesting that he can have games where he has 10 points, putting the ball on the floor, and has 4 or 5 turnovers and doesn't shoot the ball well. And I hate that game. But the game where he doesn't score at all, but stays true to who he is and gets his shots in the natural flow of the offense, open shots, quality shots, I'll take that all day long. So Simone, please keep the same energy. I don't care if the shot is not falling. Do what you do best. Take good shots in rhythm. Don't try to be a playmaker or a creator. If you do that, you will stay on the floor. Ron Howland had 3 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, on 1 of 3 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3 in 16 minutes. So you may have already heard this by now, but Ron shot the lights out tonight. Not with his shooting. He did make 1 of 2, but when he made his only 3 tonight, the lights literally went out at LCA. They just turned off. They literally just turned off. It was kind of funny. But aside from that, he crashed the glass like Asar. He helped the Pistons finish defensive possessions by not allowing the offensive rebound, jumping with the big to tap the ball to your teammate. He also made some good plays offensively, making the right play to the right guy for an easy shot. And then defensively, he played really good defense, whether he was guarding Van Fleet, whether he was guarding Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, Amin Thompson. He played really tough defense on all those guys. So he did so many little things tonight that helped the Pistons get this win. Isaiah Stewart has 6 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 turnover on 3 of 6 shooting in 18 minutes. So like I mentioned earlier, JD and Stu both played really good defense on Sengun tonight. Sengun finished with 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists on 5 of 14 shooting. 0 of 1 from 3 in 30 minutes. So they held him in check, and they did so without fouling. Sengun is really good at drawing fouls, and tonight he only had 1 free throw. So the Pistons were playing good physical defense, positional defense, but they didn't foul. That is major growth on Stu, but even more so JD's part, who has been dealing with foul trouble. So those guys really held him in check. But Stu was great, man. He was great on the boards, only allowing 1 shot. Like, he was clearing the glass. Nobody was even around him when he would grab the rebound, which means he had great position. And he even had a nice little follow-away jumper in the post. So it looks like Stu is slowly adding more and more to his game. The focus is always going to be defense, but if he can be more of a threat offensively, it's just going to make him so much more important off the bench. And in that 4th quarter, he was really important defensively because, as I mentioned earlier, the Pistons were cold. But I also mentioned that the Rockets were cold. Stu was a big part of that. He protected the hoop and didn't allow anything on the paint. That could have been a time when the Rockets went on a run, when the Pistons couldn't score to start the 4th quarter, but he was a big reason of why the Pistons were able to keep the lead and not allow Houston to go on a run. Malik Beasley had 17 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers on 5 of 12 shooting, 3 of 9 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line in 30 minutes. So Beasley did what Beasley does, man. He made big shots for this team and gave the Pistons scoring off the bench. It wasn't a great shooting night as far as percentage, but he took shots in rhythm. He's doing a lot of what Tim Hardaway Jr. does, just at a higher rate. He just takes more shots. But neither of those guys this season have been shooting their teams out of games. If their shot's going, they're continuing to shoot it. If it's not, they're finding other ways to be effective. And once again, that's what Beasley has done for this team, and the 17 points were needed off the bench. I say it often, with Jaden out, the Pistons collectively are going to have to come together to generate offense off the bench, and Beasley, as well as Marcus Sasser, did a good job of that. Sasser had 8 points, 3 boards, 2 assists on 3-7 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line in 13 minutes. So once again, Sasser didn't play a lot, but he was efficient while he was on the court. The Rockets in the second half did try to make a run, and they cut a 10-point lead down to 5. But right after that, Sasser came into the game doing what we want to see. Come in and look to be aggressive offensively. And that's exactly what he did. When the Pistons lead got cut in half, Sasser went on a personal 5-0 run against the Rockets to give the Pistons 5 quick points to get the lead back up to 10. That is what Sasser is. Sasser is a bucket. He's not a point guard, he is a bucket. So when he comes into the game, you want to see him looking for his offense, and he did so tonight. He was big. I don't think the Pistons win this game without him, because his points came at a time when momentum really could have shifted Houston's way and got them right back into this game. So great game from Sasser, man. I love to see it. So all in all, I am proud of this win. This was a good team win against a very good opponent. And watching this game, I can't remember the last time I said so many times, good defense, during the Pistons game. It's been a while, but it felt like every other play I was saying good defense, whether it was team defense, rotating properly, or just good one-on-one defense. But that's how it was tonight. It was very good defense consistently all game long. So the Pistons have 4 more games on their Western Conference road trip, and tonight was important. It was really good to see the Pistons get off to a good start, because the next 4 games are the Hawks, the Magic, the Cavs, and the Pacers to finish the road trip. So none of those games are going to be easy. So we'll see if the Pistons can replicate the success they had in the last road trip this time around. But what did you guys see in this game that I may have missed? Let's talk about it. Appreciate you hanging with your boy. And as always, Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
Rewind 2021. There was a parade in my city. #1 pick, dancing in the street. Everybody was hitting the grid. Cade arrived in the D, and it was live as can be. They can ball, but we didn't want Dream or Bleak or Scotty B. No, when he got hurt, everyone lost it. Storylines leaking, no faucet. Caught him washed when he broke his tibia. All the haters, time to get it really, Everybody wanna be Skip Bayless. Wanna throw shade, okay, say less. Dudes went #1 for a reason. It'll click by the end of the season. When he wins most improved player. Gonna be a movie, here's the trailer. Don't say I didn't try to warn ya. Co-signed by Wimbenyama.
Cade Cunningham.
He was raised in Texas, but now he's Detroit flexing. Team USA, he was killing them. Got him effed up, let me quote Eminem. Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. That's a bunch of gibberish and money lovers act like they forgot about Cade. Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. That's a bunch of gibberish and money lovers act like they forgot about Cade. Forgot about Cade, they forgot about Cade. Forgot about, how you forget about Cade?